Welcome to the next challenge, entitled Compare Strings by Count of Characters. You are to create a function that takes two strings as arguments and returns either true or false depending on whether the total number of characters in the first string is equal to the total number of characters in the second string. Refer to the examples below. You'll see that the first one is true and the others are false. In the first case, each parameter has two letters. That makes sense. And notice the differing letter counts in the second and third examples, 3 against 2 and 5 against 6. So I think that is a pretty simple set of directions. We can head over to the coding part. As usual, now's your chance to pause the video and have a go at it. If not, we'll get right to it. Notice we have to return a Boolean comparing the sizes of the strings. It's either true or false. So we need a return statement. We're going to take string 1 length is equal to string 2 dot length. And remember, I guess the tough part here would be that as a new person you may not know about this length field. So again, you would have gone on Google and looked up the string type for C# language, probably on the Microsoft pages, and it would list a bunch of fields, properties of strings. Or you can simply go into a Google search bar and say how to find the number of letters in a string or anything like that, and you're gonna immediately get results that links that will show you how to do that. Stack Overflow is a great reference. You usually see them pop up. And so we'll do our usual check here to make sure it's right. Anyways, you're going to get an integer representing the number of letters being compared against another integer describing the number of letters in string 2, and you're checking them for equality. And remember that for newcomers, it's very easy to mix up the assignment operator with the equality operator. We want the double equals. We're checking if the two sides are equal. A single equal sign is an assignment statement. It would try to assign the length of string 2 to string 1, but that would blow up. Length is not something you can assign to. But anyways, that's a common thing. If you get errors, be on the lookout for that. And so we'll do our check. And it all looks good. And so that was a pretty simple way of doing things. They had this nice field for us to reference and make the problem very simple. A more naive approach would have been maybe to set up some for loops and iterate over the strings where you're counting letters for each loop. Maybe you're incrementing some kind of counter, and then you end up with two integer values, two counters, and you're checking them for equality at the end. But that would have been a lot of extra work. It wouldn't have been as readable as this. This is nice and readable. It's very clear what's going on here. So length was really your best way to go. As usual, it's not critical that you remember length field. The more you work with it, that will happen over time. The important thing is to remember that hopefully in the back of your mind you remember that this thing exists. Even if you can't come up with the name of it, you just remember, hey, there's an easy way to get the size of a string. And then, things are easier to find when you have that in your head. And when you're trying to solve problems, you sort of have a collection of these things that exist that you can immediately work with. They're sort of little items in your toolbox. So yeah, that should do it for this video. The key was coming up with the field name. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, please provide them below, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.